All right, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for attending. If you're a student attending this event, that means that you have an interest in working in the engineering field, whether that be becoming an engineer or working as a tech. Welcome to our engineering information panel. We've got quite a few presenters today. We will be having some question and answer opportunities throughout. I'll make an announcement just so that you all know when you can put a question in the Q&A box. Feel free to put one in at any time, but we will be checking them at certain times. First, we've got our Wake Tech Applied Science Department heads, and we will be hearing from UNC Charlotte and ECU because we have some agreements with those applied science degrees. And then a little bit later on, around 11 or 11:30, we're going to have NC State and North Carolina A&T join us to talk about the transfer process with our associate in engineering degrees. My name is Blair Turpin. I am an academic advisor. You may or may not have worked with me before. But anyway, I will start by introducing, so that we don't waste any time, our first presenter, which is Beth from our Civil Engineering Technology degree.
Hey, I'm Beth Anatola, and I'm the Program Director for Civil Engineering Technology and Geomatics Technology here at Wake Tech. Instead of having you listen to me to learn more about civil engineering, we've worked with some of our industry partners to put together some videos. And so, Blair, if you could start by playing the Civil Engineering Technology video so that they can see a little bit more about what's involved with civil engineering.
You got it.
So the job market's very hot right now. We get weekly inquiries from local industry looking for our students. So if you like math and you like puzzles and you like trying to fit things together, then civil engineering technology or geomatics technology may be the perfect thing for you. So there are three different pathways that a lot of our students take. The first one would be that they could become a CAD designer, where they would be in the office doing designs on residential and commercial land development projects. The second one would be a construction administrator, where they could be in the field looking at the plans that were done by an engineer, making sure that everything was constructed according to plan. And then the third one would be a construction materials testing technician, where they could be in the field testing construction materials as they come in. That could be things like concrete or aggregates or asphalt, and making sure that those materials meet the specifications before they're put in the ground or before construction starts. Or if you prefer to be in the office, a CAD technician is another way to go, where they would be in the office actually processing the data that was collected in the field. The other option would be a GIS technician, where they're able to interpret data and create maps to convey the information that's needed by others. So math and English skills are extremely important. Both degrees require a lot of algebra and trigonometry for both engineering design calculations and for survey data, time management skills, and paying close attention to detail. Our geomatics technology program was altered last year so that all of our classes are offered in the evenings with a Saturday lab component or online. With the completion of our civil engineering technology degrees, students have the opportunity to gain 6 third-party certifications through NCDOT and ACI free of charge, which saves them thousands of dollars. We would love to have you in our program.
So this video just gave you an overview of what our program is and some of the types of jobs that a lot of our students tend to take after they graduate. If you could show this other civil engineering video that we have, and that one will show the jobs, the typical civil engineering jobs. The other one was more of an overview. This one is a little more specific.
Can you hear the sound?
Yes, thanks, Amanda.
So I didn't know I was going to enjoy civil engineering when I out of high school. I knew I liked math. I knew I liked building things. So one of my advisors had told me, hey, you might like civil engineering. And so I would say that if you enjoy being outside a little bit, if you enjoy math, you enjoy, seeing things come to fruition, that's kind of would be some clues to help you understand that civil engineering might be.
So I'd always been really passionate about the environment, water, sanitation, and I always liked math and science classes. And so I found this career to be an environmental engineer, which sort of took my academic interests and as well as my passions and then combined them into a job.
I really like the stormwater side of land development because it's kind of a mixture of like the gray, like the concrete, the riser boxes, the outlet barrels, like the concrete side, and then that's also the green side. So there's green infrastructure, there's how you manage the plantings of stormwater control measures, there's all sorts of different swales and different technologies that incorporate just like multifaceted approaches to engineering and not just concrete and conduit.
I thought it was super interesting because it combines not only civil engineering and structural engineering, but a biology component because there's plants that you have to select to go in our systems, soil conditions that you have to be aware of. I'm really fascinated with water and how water moves. So
this program is more hands-on than a four-year program would be. We have a lot of classes where we are actually in the lab doing certification tests. We have GIS and GPS equipment that we're able to take out in the field. Our civil engineering students have a lot of survey classes where they have a lot of field work outside doing boundary surveys, topo surveys, things like that.
Geomatics gets into some of the GIS program, which really helps with pre-construction. We can scope out our job sites a lot. And really, the civil engineering program itself just encompassed a lot of different knowledge bases that I would need. It didn't go extremely deep into any of them, but it got me kind of the inch deep and mile wide knowledge base I needed to get into the industry.
I really enjoy the CAD work, the CAD aspect of it, and taking an engineer's designs and turning it into a drawing that will be used to build it in the field.
I learned about the AutoCAD software, how certain layouts need to be for certain job sites. Examples, as I said, some sites may be on a hill and we need 3 or 4 retaining walls, or some sites are flat and it may be wetlands on half of the site, and we just have to figure out how to be able to work around that for the client or the developer, whoever's in need.
We're encouraged and required to go to the Wake Tech Job Fair. And I actually gained employment through the job fair program with Harris Rebar in Benson, North Carolina. And I worked with them for 9 months as kind of a draftsman and a rebar technician. And so what I was doing was quantifying and designing the reinforcing bar for these concrete structures all over the Raleigh area.
Usually the end of February every year, where we have somewhere between 30 and 40 local companies come in and they talk to our students about the types of jobs that they do, and most of them are hiring. So the job market is very strong for civil engineering and geomatics students right now.
My favorite part is how rewarding it can be. And so we essentially ensure that there's infrastructure in place for clean water conveyance and wastewater management. Without those things, society wouldn't be able to run smoothly. And so it's pretty cool to be part of the group of people sort of behind the scenes making that happen, because clean water and wastewater sort of taken for granted in society.
So you can see from watching those videos that there are a lot of different ways that you can take this degree. So you can, if you want to be inside, there are CAD positions and there are designer positions. And if you want to be outside, you can go into stormwater, you can do land development. Civil engineering is just so broad. But civil engineering also overlaps with geomatics. Geomatics is surveying. And in our programs, the civil engineering track and the geomatics track are very closely related, with only a few courses that are different. So a lot of our students tend to double major in civil engineering and geomatics. So let's watch the geomatics video.
surveying is the closest thing to flying an airplane 500 miles an hour, but surveying is much more precise. Well, when you're flying, you're going over the earth and you're navigating. You're using azimuths. You must be aware of where you are. And the math that one uses to navigate, much of it is base 60. Well, all of the math in surveying is dependent upon base 60 math.
When I graduated high school, I knew that I enjoyed math, and I knew that I enjoyed being outside. And I found a program and a degree that incorporated both of them. I fell in love with the career, with the teaching, with being outside and learning to use all the new equipment and learning to use my mathematics skills in different ways that I hadn't thought of before.
Nature and being outside is one of the places I can feel most calm, and so being able to include that in my work helps be a little bit more efficient with my work. And I just, it's different every day.
Just that I get to experience different places every day. It's a whole different environment, like every day.
What I love best about my job is using really neat technology that is fun to work with, but it also provides detailed and accurate information to our surveyors and planners. So it's not just a cool way of gathering technology, it's a way that's benefiting us, keeping less boots on the ground, so it's a safer environment. Like today out here, there's a lot of demolition going on behind us. So instead of having to be in and around this heavy machinery and kind of causing a possible harm for our men on the ground, we can gather that data remotely.
Cool factor about geomatics is our use of mobile devices and tablets. Kids are using those when they first get into kindergarten now. Some of the first things they pick up, so their mom's smartphone, and start playing games on them. And we use those every day.
I would say our mapping program. We use ArcGIS, and that is my favorite. That's the reason I'm in this industry. So it allows us to bring in data for different information, streams, parcels, survey data that our field crews are collecting, and making maps that impact people's lives.
If somebody wants to be a surveyor, they need to like to read. There's a lot of research. I would ask someone if they wanted to be a surveyor, do they like to solve puzzles? Because every survey is a puzzle. Do you also have basic math skills? When I grew up, I thought surveying was mostly a mathematical profession. Math to a surveyor is only a tool. It's more research, more reading, and more law.
My favorite class of the geomatics department is the survey law. Survey law is something that you do not learn out in the field. That's something that you have to learn in the office or in a class. And just knowing how to protect yourself, that information is paramount.
With this program at Wake Tech, in 2 years you can earn an Associate of Applied Science in Geomatics. With that degree, after being in the workforce for a number of years, less than 10, one can earn the professional licensure as a land surveyor in North Carolina.
There is a career path that lets you get 2-year degree training and then a number of years experience to become a surveyor, a professional licensed surveyor. You can be a surveyor your whole life and not get licensed. So there is a career path for non-licensed professionals. And there are lots of opportunities for where to go with that. The industry evolves, the equipment evolves. We're now flying surveys instead of everything being land-based. But the principles remain the same. You still need to know basic boundary law, how to control your surveys, how to tie in your survey points. All the things we do with surveying has not changed since Thomas Jefferson and George Washington were surveying, way back then. The equipment makes things easier. You go about getting our results a little bit differently, but the principles are the same.
So many of our students graduate from both our civil engineering technology programs and our geomatics technology programs and tend to transfer to four-year universities. And I think that's why we're here today, is to talk a little bit more about some of those transfer opportunities. So thank you, Blair, for letting me speak.
You are very welcome. Up next, we are going to introduce our representative from East Carolina University. All right, Amy, did you want to speak first?
I sure can.
All right.
Let me share my screen. And what I'm going to do is bring up our college website. And this is the ECU website, which is ecu.edu. And the college website is CET for College of Engineering and Technology.ecu.edu. So the civil engineering AAS will actually come into two different programs. The most appropriate would probably be the construction management degree. So I'm going to click on departments and construction management. And then under undergraduates, click on the AAS transfer program. So this accepts the civil engineering AAS degree as part of their transfer options. So this is the Bachelor's of Computer Science within construction management, so BS in construction management. And under it, it has an AAS option. This is main campus only and during the daytime. So if you are interested in transferring to this program, your best is to move to ECU and enroll and get the college experience. And for the civil engineering AAS, they take 27 hours of your civil engineering credit, and then your general education courses come in course by course. So if you kind of look at the curriculum here, you can see a bunch of general education credits down there. So if you have the equivalent community college general education credit, those will transfer and apply on top of your technical civil engineering courses. I do not work in the Department of Construction Management, but there are two names at the bottom, two academic advisors in the Department of Construction Management that can work with you if you'd like to have an unofficial evaluation, or if you'd like to kind of figure out how to maximize your transfer or have other questions about this program. So that is one option there. So if I go back to the College of Engineering Technology, drop down departments, click on Technology Systems, that's my home department, which is also techsystems.ecu.edu is a direct link. So if you click on undergraduate, we have our largest program in the department, which is the BS in Industrial Technology transfer program. This is an AAS transfer program, and we call it BSIT in short. So if you scroll down on this web page, you can see down in here we have several different concentrations under the BSIT. Civil engineering and can work well with our architectural design technology concentration. If you click on this, it does have a flyer, indicates the courses that you're taking once you enroll with ECU, and then the general education electives, and your AAS actually applies 38 credits towards the degree, and then your gen eds on top of that. When you transfer into a degree that's 120 hours total, max that can apply from a 2-year is 60 hours, so we can help you maximize those transfer hours. This curriculum is in the process of being updated, so it'll be a little more modernized, and this is one of the two programs we're planning to offer at Wake Tech. Hopefully by the time fall rolls around, we'll have enough students to start offering a face-to-face evening class there at Southern Wake. So the architectural is a good combination with this, and actually there are other concentrations, if you look through here, that may be applicable depending on your career path. And some of these others I'm going to go over under the other two AAS degrees that we will be presenting next. Okay, does that help?
That's awesome, Amy. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next up, we will have UNC Charlotte. Jamie is joining us today, and she'll go over a little bit of the overview for our applied science transfer degrees.
All right. Hi, everybody. First and foremost, my name is Jamie Dawkins. I am the Assistant Director for Transfer Admissions here at UNC Charlotte. So I'm not actually in any of our engineering or engineering technology programs, but I have the amazing pleasure of working very closely with those folks through my efforts in connecting with community college students. So I'm just going to spend a little bit of time. I'm actually going to share a couple of different screens with you guys. But the first thing I wanted to show you guys is a cool chart that we have. So we do accept a few different Associate of Applied Science and Engineering Technology degrees offered at Wake Tech. And how they align depends upon what you're wanting to study at Charlotte. So I know we just learned a lot about the Associate of Applied Science and Civil Engineering Technology. And so if you look right here, you can see that AAS degree aligns with our Civil Engineering Technology bachelor's degree and our Construction Management bachelor's degree. So if you earn that AAS in Civil Engineering Technology, you could certainly pursue our BS in Civil Engineering Technology or our BS in Construction Management. It's a pretty streamlined transfer for either one. I'm gonna, whoops, I think my screen just stopped. There we go. I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking to you guys about our BS in Civil Engineering Technology program. It tends to be a great fit for folks that do earn that Associate of Applied Science at Wake Tech, that aligning Associates of Applied Science, I should say, and want to transfer over to turn that associate's degree into a bachelor's degree. So a little bit about that program here at Charlotte. It has a lot of the same focuses that you heard in those videos at Wake Tech. Those ideas and concepts are just expanded upon once you make your way to Charlotte. Our program here at Charlotte is incredibly hands-on with state-of-the-art lab spaces, industry partnerships, and so our students are taking that hands-on experience that you had at Wake Tech and furthering that throughout your time here at Charlotte. All of our students participate in some sort of practice-oriented experiential learning opportunity. So whether that's research, a design project, capstone, or some sort of co-op. In the corner here, you'll see some of our amazing industry partners here in the Charlotte area that our students are partnering with and working alongside of and ultimately going to find jobs with upon graduation. Our instructors are really well involved in the industry. So most of our instructors, our professors have industry experience, have that design experience, come from working in the construction industry or in the consulting environments, which we know is really critical for that job hunt after graduation. And you can see that a lot of the concentrations or emphasis that you'll focus on here at UNC Charlotte looks similar to some of the highlights in the previous video. So we will look at water and wastewater systems in our program at Charlotte, and you'll have the opportunity to do more than just, you're not going to be doing just surveying, but you're actually going to dive a little bit deeper into that structural analysis and design and that kind of thing. So our program, again, very hands-on. It lines very nicely with that Associate of Applied Science in Civil Engineering Technology. And we have actually some tools to help you all if you are at Wake Tech and you're wanting to take that Associate of Applied Science degree and turn it into a bachelor's degree with Charlotte. We actually have checklist for you guys. So while you're selecting courses within your Associate of Applied Science degree, you can use these checklists to ensure you're taking the courses that will align best with your intended bachelor's degree once you get to Charlotte. So this is a screenshot of that checklist for the 2+2 for Civil Engineering Technology. In just a moment, I'll show you how to get to it. But you can see there's some really critical general classes, so your Englishes and those math. You heard the conversation in the video about the math part of this engineering technology program. So we do want you to go ahead and get a jump start on furthering your math skills, deepening those math skills, taking higher level math, maybe even math beyond what your Associate of Applied Science requires, so that you are set up for the most seamless transfer with us. Of course, our program is going to include the physics, and then there's a varying course options in that engineering technology realm. So anything from construction classes and surveying classes to some drafting and that kind of design type coursework. But there's very specific ones we want you to build in your AAS to align and allow you to transfer over as a true 2+2 student to UNC Charlotte. So using this tool will help you with that. Just so you're knowing, just so you know, if you do want to transfer over to Charlotte and turn your Associate of Applied Science into the bachelor's degree with us, within that Applied Science degree, we're going to look for you to have that degree complete with a 2.5 GPA. And we want you to have as many of the courses from this checklist completed as possible so that you truly can go straight into that junior level classwork with us. We will award you up to 64 credit hours from Wake Tech towards your degree program at Charlotte. Sometimes I have students that want to transfer to our engineering technology programs that are not doing the AAS degree, and if that is you, you can still pursue that transfer pathway. It just looks a little different, and the vast majority of your engineering technology coursework will be taken here at Charlotte. and you'll be focusing more on your general education classes at Wake Tech. But if you want to do the 2+2, that Associate of Applied Science degree is a great fit. I'm hoping my screen will still show so I can show you a little bit more about where you can find information about these checklists and about the programs. I love that our program has set up those 2+2 pages where you can learn all about those transfer process, what's required. And it's great because it provides you, again, that checklist of the types of classes we want you to be taking at Wake Tech within your Associate of Applied Science. And even if you click on the checklist, or the check sheet, I should say, it populates that screenshot I was just showing you there so that you can truly map out what you should be building in for a seamless transfer. The great news is with these programs, again, because they are hands-on and they're connected with industry leaders, our students are graduating with job opportunities. They're learning for folks that are connected to the industry, helping them find internships that turn into job opportunities. I think that's one of the unique things about the program at Charlotte. So we are really excited about it. We are seeing more and more interest in the engineering technology field. Our faculty and staff here are roaring and ready to meet and see these 2+2 students make their way to us. We know you're gaining really valuable skills and knowledge through your Associate of Applied Science program that will set you up for wild success in your program at Charlotte. And we'd love to be a part of that journey for you. So I'm hoping that those tools give you some insight. The other thing that I encourage you all to take a look at is on our engineering technology website, there are information, again, for our future students. And one of my favorite things to look at is they have some program highlights. They talk individually about each program and opportunities to go on to graduate school too. I'll talk a little bit about mechanical engineering technology later on, but we have an amazing grad who did their mechanical engineering technology degree with us after finishing at a North Carolina community college, and actually went on to do their master's program, is now doing some amazing research work out in Colorado. So we encourage you guys to think about expanding and furthering that education throughout your journey in this field for the most amazing opportunities down the road.
All right, thank you, Jamie. We do have a question already, but I'm going to save that for a little bit later. We will be touching on just the associate in engineering a little bit after we go through our applied science degrees. So up next, I've got our electronics engineering technology department head or program. I can't share you, I don't know why. Byron is with us today. There we go. And if you could just give us a little overview about the electronics engineering technology degree in applied science, that would be great.
Okay, thank you, Blair. Thank you, everyone, for attending today. So I'm Byron Latil. I am the department head of applied engineering and design. So I technically oversee all of the applied engineering programs in our division. And so I am not a master's of electronics engineering information. We did just hire a new program director yesterday, but it seemed like too quick to put them on the spot. So you're stuck with me. So to launch this, I'm going to follow in Beth's footsteps. We'll go, if you would, queue up our department video for electronics engineering, then I'll have some follow-up after that.
You got it. We'll cue that up.
Our primary program is the Associate of Applied Science in Electronic Engineering Technology, which is a 2-year degree program in electronic engineering. Under that associate degree program, we have 5 certificates. The majority of the students enter the workforce after graduating. However, the Associate of Applied Science degree will transfer to some colleges in their Bachelor of Engineering Technology program. The Electronic Engineering Technology program is designed to be broad-based in order to enable you to enter a variety of career paths, anything from the traditional test technician to a biomedical technician to an automation technician. One of the highest demand careers in this area is related to automation and advanced manufacturing. Being able to program programmable logic controllers with motors and motor controls, with sensors and transducers is critical to jobs in this arena. Students that succeed in fields related to electronic engineering need to have strong critical thinking skills, strong collaborative skills, as well as strong communication skills. and this would include both oral communication and written communication. We're hard pressed to find a job in the electronic engineering field today where written communication is not essential to job performance. The world of electricity and electronics is very mathematically based, so math skills are critical to success in the program. Students in the electronic engineering technology program are required to take one math class, which is algebra and trigonometry, and then 2 communication classes, and both of those are composition and writing. A good number of our students, or the students in the electronic engineering technology program, are attending college part-time in either the day or the evening while they work full-time for companies. These companies actively recruit graduates from our program. So if you're someone that likes to work with your hands, you like to be creative and inventive, likes to program, to build things and see tangible results, the electronic engineering technology program would be a good fit for you. If you'd like more information about the electronic engineering technology program at Wake Tech, please contact the college or contact me directly.
Okay, so that was John Clevenger, who is our former program director for electronics engineering, who is recently retired and whose position we've just filled. And he did a good job of giving an overview of the types of industries that the graduates of this program would pursue. And very often, it's either going to be a service technician, in industry, or for a company that is servicing multiple industries, or someone who's working with a development team, in design and testing and things of that nature. One of the cues on my sheet is to distinguish the difference between a technology degree and an engineering degree, and the career pathways that would be provided under each of those. And the simple answer is typically, a technology degree or an associate in applied science degree, those students have a 2-year program with a heavy emphasis on practical skills, and are typically going to work under the supervision and direction of a professional engineer once they get into industry. A student who pursues an engineering degree, which is the requirement of becoming a professional engineer in North Carolina, would be that person who is typically leading those teams of those technicians. That's the simple and short of it. I'm going to share my screen that has some information on our program on our website. So let's see. Okay. This is our division website. You can reach it just by going to aet.waketech.edu. And if you scroll down, you'll see that the very top of the list is the Associate in Engineering program, which is geared towards students who wish to pursue a bachelor's degree in engineering at a major university. Beneath that are the applied engineering programs, and under this list is electronics engineering technology. So anybody who's interested can come here and start to do some research on this program that we're not going to cover in today's session. Okay, so that's all I have for you. I'll keep it short and sweet, save the rest of the stuff for question and answer.
All right, we will go back to ECU to talk, if you have a little bit more to say about our electronics applied science degree and how that transfers in to East Carolina. So I will let you take it away. Is Amy? I believe Amy might have left. Ariel, is there anything that you can say about the electronics engineering and how that might transfer into ECU?
Hi, Blair. I think, yes, I can. I think okay. Amy's back though.
Oh, okay. Amy, I think you left for a second. We were just gonna go over a little bit about how the electronics engineering applied science degree might transfer into ECU.
Okay, good. Yeah, sorry about that. It just all of a sudden crashed. So, okay, so let me go back to the college website. Click there. Okay, so I'm back again at the College of Engineering Technology website, which is cet.ecu.edu, and you click on departments and go to tech systems. So we have, again, the BS in Industrial Technology, which is the AAS transfer program. So if I click undergrad, choose the BSIT program here, transfer program. This program, most AAS degrees will transfer in, apply up to 60 hours. So then you only have 60 hours remaining with ECU. All 8 of these concentrations are available online, except for the mechanical design and the architectural design. Those are main campus only, but all 8 are available main campus as well. So as you probably know, main campus is about 80 miles east of Raleigh. We don't really have a concentration specific to electronics, but most AAS electronics folks will transfer and either enroll in the industrial management concentration or the industrial engineering technology concentration. And you can even consider distribution logistics and mechanical design. So mechanical design I'll share in the next segment, but more ideal is probably the industrial engineering technology. In this particular concentration, this is our most applied engineering related transfer option. So under this, you would take courses. There's a core here that every concentration takes. And then we kind of get down into a little more specific courses. And then there's some approved electives down here, which allows you to customize your program even more to align with your career path, because we have a lot of different courses available online and main campus that you can mix into this. So if you wanted to take, for example, and you're in electronics, but you want to take a CAD course, we're planning to offer the CAD course at Wake Tech when we start the main campus program there. So you could take that as a seated course at Wake Tech if that's something of interest to you. So, so the electronics kind of builds into the BSIT. Unfortunately, we don't have electronics specific, but it does align very well with our programs. Okay, does that help?
Yeah, thank you, Amy. And we'll move over to UNC Charlotte back with Jamie just to talk a little bit about how our electronics applied science engineering technology might transfer into Charlotte. All right.
Thank you. All right, let me see if I can, thought I had my share screen ready, but all right, so yes, for UNC Charlotte, we definitely accept the AAS and electronics engineering technology. You can see here that it's an approved associate of applied science, and it actually aligns with our electrical engineering technology major. We don't have a BS in electronics here at Charlotte, but there's a lot of similar aspects of your associate of applied science and electronics engineering technology that closely aligns with our electrical engineering technology degree program. And so that is what most of our students that are earning that AAS are pursuing with us here at Charlotte. I did want to show just very briefly a quick little overview. Our electrical engineering technology folks recently did a cool competition, and I really wanted to highlight it to show it off. So I'm going to show that first, and then I'm going to talk more about the program itself. And I absolutely love this highlight. We have been navigating the virtual world now for a little while, and I think it speaks volumes to how our students were able to adapt and still bring in some hands-on learning opportunities through their time. So that is just one example of some of our engineering technology students going to work and putting what they're learning in the classroom to fruition in actual projects. So as I mentioned before, the Associate of Applied Science in Electronics Engineering and Technology will transfer into our BS in Electrical Engineering Technology. We also accept a few others into that program that you can see on the screen here, but your Electronics Engineering Technology program at Wake Tech best aligns with this Electrical Engineering Technology degree at Charlotte. So this program, as you can see, has the focus on the circuits and systems and all that good stuff that you will get kind of in that Associate of Applied Science degree at Wake Tech, and then that you will expand upon during your junior and senior level classes here at Charlotte. Again, similar to our Civil Engineering Technology program I mentioned, there is a hands-on and experiential learning component to all of our engineering technology classes. For this one specifically, our students do this capstone project, which you were just watching the video of, and it is usually in partnership with others across the program. So students are working in a group, learning that teamwork, learning how to bring ideas together and make a cohesive project that they not only have to work on together, but then they have to demonstrate, develop, and eventually do a written and oral report, which we know is a part of the industry once you graduate from your college experience. There is a concentration available within this program, so you can do your BS in Electrical Engineering Technology, or if you have a specific interest in electromechanical systems, you can do a concentration, which essentially guides your junior and senior year, where you would normally take some electives in the engineering technology field. You would take courses very specific to that concentration to kind of go in conjunction with your electrical engineering technology degree. This program is offered fully online for students that do the Associate of Applied Science in Electronics Engineering Technology. And so we do offer it in person on campus, but we do have an online version for this degree program. It does require that you have all of our specific course recommendations complete prior to transferring. So you would have to follow our pathways very closely to make sure you're taking all the suggested courses for our 2+2 prior to getting to us to be eligible for the online completion component. But it is nice that it has that, and it does start in a summer term. Many of our students graduating from our electrical engineering technology degree are going on to work in manufacturing and automation, but there's obviously various opportunities available. You can see that the degree itself is focused on a variety of things that lead to a variety of careers, but manufacturing and automation is where we're seeing the vast majority of our electrical engineering technology students head to upon graduation. So similar to the civil engineering technology checklist, there is also one for our electrical engineering folks. So if you are earning an AAS in electronics engineering technology at Wake Tech, we want you to use this checklist. So we want you to make sure you're taking and aligning courses within your AAS degree with this program. This is especially critical if you're wanting to do the 2+2 that's fully online, because all of these requirements must be met before you can go into the online program. And so when you have the options of choosing different electrical courses, we have some very key ones that we want to make sure you build into there. Similarly, we want you to get through your higher level math, Calculus 1, Calculus 2, and the physics coursework. And then of course your general education like English and that kind of thing. So these are really critical, regardless of whether you're wanting to do online or in person. If you're wanting to do a true 2+2, you want to build as many of these in there as you can, but to do that fully online version, all of them must be complete. Similar admissions requirements, so you do need to have, if you're wanting to do the Associate of Applied Science 2+2 pathway, you do need to have that approved Associate of Applied Science degree complete with a 2.5 GPA. Middle of those prerequisites missing, but if you're wanting to do the fully online, all of them must be complete. And then, of course, similarly, if you want to do engineering technology and you're in an AA or an AS degree, you can pursue that transfer pathway. You're just doing more of your general education at Wake Tech and saving that engineering technology coursework for your time at Charlotte. I did want to show you guys again how you can get to those checklists on our engineering technology website. It's et.charlotte.edu. You can click on future students in that 2+2 dropdown. And again, you'll be able to see if you're doing your Associates of Applied Science and wanting to pursue our electrical engineering technology degree, here are the key courses we want you building into your time. And then of course that checklist can be found here, and it will show you those critical classes to build into your degree at Wake Tech. But we're really excited about this program. Again, I was so excited to show the robotics video because these students have over the last year really had to get creative in how they continue that hands-on learning experience, because we know that that is critical, especially to the engineering technology field. And our students and our professors are navigating that. And now that we are back in person, this is only enhanced and growing more and more with each semester. So we're excited about that, and we hope that you are excited about the program.
All right, thank you, Jamie. Up next, we are going to go over our final applied science engineering technology, and that is our Wake Tech Mechanical Engineering Technology Applied Science degree. And we've got a program director or department head, Albert, with us today, and he will go over that program.
Thank you. I am Al Brewer. I'm the department head for skilled trades and construction technologies, and I'm a mechanical engineer, filling in for the program director for that area. If you would cue up the video for that program, and the person highlighted in that program is our Dean Laura Eddington, who is over our applied engineering and technologies, which the name has just changed to biotechnology engineering and skilled technologies.
All right, we will cue that up for you.
People who want to work with their hands, who are mechanically inclined, who like to solve problems. If you want to do all of that, then mechanical engineering technology is the field you want to be in. So mechanical engineering technology is a very broad-based program. It is one that you can get a multifaceted career in. You can go into many, many other fields. It has about 23 courses in it. It's a 68 credit hour program. It covers areas of drafting, statics, strength of materials, project management, 3D printing. It has a lot of hands-on applications for students to learn. So it is meant to give students the ability to go in many different fields. If you want to go into pharmaceuticals, you want to go into architectural, you want to go into manufacturing, you want to go into quality engineering, it will get you that broad-based foundation. And so it's all about the support of what an engineer needs to actually get a product. Maybe it's a building, maybe it's a system that needs to be put in production. Soft skills are very important when you get out into the workforce, or even when you're working in teams in your scholastic environment. You want to communicate your ideas and have people hear you. Pay attention to your math and your written communication skills. You're going to be writing reports, and you need to communicate with people, and you want to be effective in that communication. So those skills are very foundational for your scholastic success. Students should take advantage of our work-based learning opportunities. These are opportunities where students can, either while they're going to school or maybe during a summer term, they would go out and actually work in the field of their interest. The other thing the mechanical engineering program does, and we are expanding into other programs, is our apprenticeship opportunities. This is an opportunity where you would earn a journeyman's card at the end of the 5-year or 4-year term, where you're actually working for a company and going to school. But it's a wonderful way of earning money for school and being debt-free at the end of it. And many industries are hiring our graduates. We have 100% placement. If you're a hands-on type of person, then mechanical engineering is where you want to be.
Thank you. I'm going to share my screen. And just as you saw earlier, Mr. Latil mentioned this is our division page. And for mechanical, you just click on Applied Engineering Design. It'll bring you down Mechanical Engineering Technology. Click on that and it'll bring you to our main page. Mechanical Engineering Technology program basically highlights courses in statics and strength of materials and hydraulic power, but we also have a mechatronics track that also gets into electrical circuits as well. As you navigate, want to find out more information, we have as far as the different, you heard in the video about the different types of jobs. You can click through and see the different base hourly rates for those jobs, or you can click in job and salary info as well and get more information about the salary ranges for different types of jobs. And as you see here, they're ranging in the 50 to 60, 70,000 range. So some of the things about, if you look in the degrees and pathways, we have two different tracks in mechanical engineering technology. There's a standard track and then there's a mechatronics track. And to find out more information on those, you just click on learn more, and then there's a program planning guide. And so when you click on that, you can see the various courses that we offer. And it's the lower level math. You don't get into the higher level calculuses like you do in the typical transfers, but you do have the statics and the strength of materials as mentioned before. And you also see there's some CAD and solid modeling where you learn to do some design. And in the mechatronics track, we have the electrical circuits courses that are being offered in that track, so you get more into electrical and electronics. We also have transfer options. You click on that, which will be covered later. And you can find out more about course descriptions in any of our programs when you click on that, and you can click on any course to find out more about that particular course. So the difference is, if you look at the overall, the students in our programs, when you think about technology or AAS versus the 4-year degrees, our students are going to be more in the, have opportunities in manufacturing, have opportunities in quality control. They will be assisting with design. It's more hands-on, not as in-depth in the theoretical side. And so, but the thing is, there's also the opportunity to continue to expand a degree into the 4-year or to advance the degree beyond that. You'll be working with those 4-year engineers and master's degree engineers as an AAS engineer. And you'll be doing a lot of the technical and the analytical legwork, and a lot of the get involved with repair of mechanical equipment, mechanical systems. And so there's opportunities to work in a variety of different fields, and these fields are in high demand. The program also offers apprenticeships, so you have the opportunity to, and I will, let me go ahead and, so you have the opportunity to get involved with apprenticeships where you're working in the field with employers while at the same time working on your academics through your degree program, and that gives you the opportunity to network, gain some experience, while at the same time you gain a better understanding of your courses too, because you're getting that hands-on opportunity. We also have where you work hands-on with projects and things like that in the labs through different courses. So if there's any other, we'll cover more in depth in the Q&A, but mechanical engineering technology really allows you to go into a lot of different directions, and you can end up working in mechatronics, working with electrical, working in electronics, depending upon what company you go into, and it gives you that variety of experience in the classroom and in the field if you choose to go into the apprenticeship side of that.
Great, thank you, Al. We appreciate it. Next, we will have Amy from ECU just to speak on their transfer pathways for that program.
Okay, thank you once again. So I'll share the screen again. So we have in the BSIT, as I mentioned before, 6 out of the 8 concentrations are available 100% online. And the architectural mechanical are main campus only, but we're also offering the architectural mechanical as the Southern Wake main campus program that we're planning to start in the fall. Actually, I already have some folks that are admitted and they're enrolling as an online student until we start those face-to-face courses, so you don't have to wait till fall if you already have your AAS degree. So, because this is probably my last time to go over this, on that website again is techsystems.ec.edu, and click on undergrad programs, choose the industrial technology program. Up here is a program flyer that is an all-in-one BSIT flyer that kind of shares a little bit about each of those 8 concentrations, which ones are main campus, which ones are online, and so forth. And then if I drop down to the 3rd bullet, this admissions page indicates the admission requirements into ECU and the BSIT, as well as all the AAS degrees that qualify to transfer into the BSIT. So you can see here there's I think about 80 different AAS degrees. And then since we're talking about the AAS and mechanical design, most folks want to stick to that area. And when we're offering courses at Wake Tech, we're planning to offer the hands-on courses and labs at Wake Tech during the evening. So it would be ideal really for any BSIT major that as soon as you finish your associate degree that you work full-time and you can enroll at ECU part-time with a combination of online and seated courses. So so you can kind of see some of these courses are kind of an extension of the AAS degree at Wake Tech. So with this program, you're not restricted to mechanical design. You can actually do logistics, you can do industrial management, industrial engineering tech, as if you kind of want to kind of cross over into another discipline. Our BSIT alums, they land really, high-paying jobs. Most of them are in those full-time positions before they even graduate, and they're enrolling with us part-time. And I also want to mention there's an accelerated program from the BSIT into our Masters in Technology Management that you can overlap up to 4 of your undergrad courses and take those as graduate courses that will apply to the Masters. So basically you're overlapping 4 graduate courses and undergrad courses between the 2 programs. So the Masters would be 6 to 7 more courses. So I also want to just take a quick minute. My email is franka@ecu.edu. If you want to contact me directly, I'm again at Wake Tech Southern Campus in Ready Hall 225 again on November 30th. And then we'll publish a schedule for when I'm at Wake Tech in the spring soon. Okay, hopefully that covers what most folks had questions on.
Yeah, thank you so much, Amy. Next, we will go back to Jamie from UNC Charlotte and have her share a little more about the program transfer options.
All right. So again, back to our handy dandy chart here. You all can see that Associate of Applied Science and Mechanical Engineering Technology aligns very closely with our Mechanical Engineering Technology degree program at Charlotte. And so that is definitely a transfer pathway. If you would like to turn that degree into a 4-year option, we have that available for you at Charlotte. And so again, that degree aligns very closely with our Mechanical Engineering Technology program. Within this program, you actually do have some additional concentrations to choose from. So again, if you wanted to do a general mechanical engineering technology degree with us, you certainly could, but we have a couple of concentrations, one in applied energy and then one in electromechanical systems. And again, those concentrations, what's nice about them is the core classes look the same for all of our mechanical engineering technology friends, but these concentrations really align or show up in that junior and senior year with us and kind of align your upper division engineering technology courses with one of those fields. The focus is, again, you'll see a lot of similarities between what you will take coursework in at your community college, and then here at Charlotte, we will expand upon those ideas, and students will move more into looking at the design and analysis in laboratory spaces, but then there's also a lot of focus on manufacturing processes for our mechanical engineering technology students. And so with these programs, we see students go into probably mechanical engineering technology is where we see the vast majority of career options. So anything from automotive design to renewable power systems to advanced manufacturing, there's a lot of variation in what these students are doing with this mechanical engineering technology degree. And some of it has to do with the concentration that they may choose. Some of it has to do with their interest, and some of them may just find those opportunities with their in their experiential learning opportunities. For mechanical engineering, all of our students take place in a design class each year that is an industry-supported year-long capstone. So it is, again, really closely tied to some of our industry partners, and we know that for our students, that leads to internship opportunities, job opportunities, and connections within the career field that help you kind of propel forward in your future careers as you prepare to graduate. So mechanical engineering technology, again, aligns very closely and very nicely with that Associate of Applied Science degree in mechanical engineering technology. Just like the others, we do have checklist available, and you'll see here the same thing with those general classes, those upper level math classes. Again, your upper level math classes are required for all of our engineering technology degrees, so those may be above and beyond what's required in your Associate of Applied Science. So work with your advisor to try to fit as many of those in as possible for the most seamless and streamlined transition to Charlotte. Same thing with your physics. Mechanical does want you to get your chemistry done if possible prior to transferring. And then that you can see within your time and your Associate of Applied Science degree, you're going to get a jump start on some circuits classes, some modeling classes, and statics and that kind of thing. And there's a couple of options that you can choose from to meet those different requirements. So you want to make sure you're selecting courses within your AAS at Wake Tech that align with the curriculum at Charlotte through these approved courses. Like all of our others, we do want students to have, if you're going to do the 2+2 option, this is an in-person degree program at Charlotte. You do need to have your applied science degree complete with a 2.5 GPA, and as many of those deficiencies or what we call prerequisites complete as possible. Again, if you don't have all of these complete prior to transferring, know that it's not going to be that true 2+2 because you will have to get through some of these lower level classes before accessing your junior and senior level courses. So I want to show you all again, just quickly, where you can find this information on that 2+2 page. This page is dedicated especially for you all to help you navigate this kind of transfer and to see what we want you to be doing for the most streamlined start with us. But you can find the mechanical engineering technology checklist is here as well. What I like also, I didn't highlight this in some of the other ones, but I do like that you can see what you need to be doing at the community college, but it also shows you if you follow that path in your applied science degree at Wake Tech, what your time at Charlotte was going to look like. So you'll actually be able to see the types of classes you are going to take in your junior and senior year with us. And we know that that helps you guys get excited and see light at the end of the tunnel. So I encourage you to be using that. For mechanical engineering, again, you can see those heavy design classes and the capstone projects because that is that hands-on component that we know employers like for you to have and expect for you to have when you go out into the job force. And I love the description that we heard earlier about our engineering technologists, especially in this field, working alongside the engineers. They are often our folks that are implementers. So they're taking these concepts and ideas and they're testing them. They're making sure that they work. They're using the skills that they have from their design projects and their capstone projects where they built and created projects to test ideas and to make sure everything works functionally and to find where hiccups might be. So you really get to use those analytical skills and those that hands-on experience to really serve you well in that career field. Again, mechanical engineering technology at Charlotte is going to be in person, so it's not going to be one that we offer fully online, but we do see a number of students finish that Associate of Applied Science degree and be on a really streamlined path to turn that degree into a bachelor's degree for those students that are interested.
All right, thank you, Jamie. At this time, before we move forward with discussing our associate in engineering degrees, so not our applied science degrees, we would like to open the Q&A for any students that might have any questions for the applied science and civil engineering from Beth, applied science degree in electronics engineering, and applied science degree in mechanical, or if you have any questions for ECU or UNC Charlotte. You can go ahead and put some questions in the Q&A box now. All right, well, if we don't have any questions at the moment, feel free to, throughout our next segment, to just drop them in that Q&A box. And now we're going to move a little bit into our associate in engineering. So that's just our general transfer engineering degree. And we'll start with ECU to discuss that program.
Thanks, Blair.
No problem, Ariel. I will cue you up. Give me
I'm
just
actually going to turn this over to Colleen Gennaro. She's going to have a conversation about that. So she's up. Her video is up, so I think she's ready to go.
All right. Welcome, Colleen.
Hi, how are you guys? All right. I'm going to share my screen if it will cooperate. Here we go. All right, so I just want to talk a little bit about ECU engineering and the AE to engineering transfer. So welcome to ECU engineering. So we're part of the College of Engineering and Technology. And there we go. So first, I'll talk a little bit about our transfer admission requirements. So once you're admitted to ECU, we do have an additional application for engineering, and I'll show you where that is on our website. So we're looking for a minimum GPA of 3.0 or higher with a C or better in Calculus 1. The first two English classes, so that would be 111 and 112, and chemistry. We do prefer students who have earned the associate in engineering. And Kim can correct me if I'm wrong, that I think that it has changed with the general education curriculum requirements. But earning the AE degree does not guarantee admission to engineering. If you have completed your AE, then that GPA requirement is lowered to 2.8 from the 3.0. And if you have any questions, our email is engineering@ecu.edu. And we do monitor that pretty regularly if you guys have any questions. And so I'm going to go ahead and share the website. And so as Amy had showed you, this is our college website. And before I go into our department website, just a quick note, we do have these tours of our facilities. So we've got 3 before the end of the year, but then we also have some leading into next year. So if you want to come and check out the college, you know, come visit, interact with some of our students. So those tours are actually led by students. You can interact with some of the faculty, ask some questions. So you can go to the cet.ecu.edu website to go ahead and sign up. So if you come here to departments and then go to engineering, and then here's that application. And so if you click there, it'll bring you through all of the criteria for whether you're applying internationally, freshman, a transfer or second degree student, if you're coming as an early college applicant, if you're an internal change of major, information about application deadlines, for whether you're coming spring or fall, and then you know, the steps to apply. But what I would like to show you is the transfer program. So ECU offers a BS in engineering, and that's a little bit different from some of the other schools where you're used to hearing about a BS in mechanical engineering or a BS in electrical engineering. And so once you're here, you get the BS in engineering, and then you pick concentration. So our pathways are laid out. We have one for each of the concentrations. So I'm just going to click on the biomedical, and it shows how your classes would come over from the AE. And of course, it's not going to cooperate, right? All right, so it shows what you should be taking in your first 2 years at your community college and then coming over. It's not a perfect 2+2 because you may have to take some summer classes depending on what math you start with is usually sort of the key point. But similar to the other programs where 125 credit hours and half of those can come from your community college. Half of them have to be taken here at ECU. And so since it's an odd number, that extra credit has to come from ECU. But it is laid out pretty well in terms of what you should be taking before you come here. And our advisors will work with you to make sure that if you do need to take some summer classes, working efficiently to make sure that you sort of are on the right path and that you don't do more work than you need to be doing. And with that, I will go ahead and stop sharing my screen if it will cooperate.
All right, thank you for that. If anyone has any questions, please be sure to drop them in that Q&A box. Colleen, if you are done discussing the Associate in Engineering pathway, I'll move over to UNC Charlotte and they can discuss, Jamie can discuss the Associate in Engineering transfer track.
Go for it.
All right. Excellent. Well, thanks for sticking around and hanging out. I'd love to talk to you about engineering. Engineering is very popular here at UNC Charlotte, especially among our transfer students. We are seeing more and more of our friends make their way to us for our engineering programs. We do have quite a few to offer. So first, let me spend a little bit of time talking to you about our engineering programs. We have a civil engineering, computer engineering, electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, and systems engineering program at Charlotte. One of the great things is that within each of these engineering programs, there are concentrations for you to choose from, which again allows you to take this broad engineering degree and really hone in on a certain topic or area of the field that you're most interested in. And realistically, depending upon which engineering realm you're wanting to go into will determine what you are doing at Wake Tech. We do recommend students do the associate in engineering at Wake Tech. If you are planning to pursue one of our traditional engineering programs here on the screen, earning the associate in engineering is your best fit. It will allow you, or it's composed of the most classes that align with these majors at Charlotte. However, we do accept the associate in arts. We do accept the associates in science. Just know that if you go either of those degree pathways, you may not be able to fit all of our recommended courses into them, but they will still be accepted. So if you maybe started thinking you wanted something else and we're already halfway done with that AA and later on decided you wanted engineering, you could still finish out that associate in arts and pursue a transfer to Charlotte, but the AE, that associates in engineering at Wake Tech, is going to be the best fit. And we have some tools to help you maximize your time there. So on our transfer admissions website, I'm hoping that you guys have had a chance to explore it, but it's admissions.charlotte.edu/transfers. Or if you just go to admissions.charlotte.edu, you can click on the really cool gold link up here that says transfers, and it takes you to all things transfer. The first thing I always like to highlight here is tools to help you pick out your classes within your AE, and we have a couple that will help you with that. So one is by going to this How Credits Transfer and looking at our transfer guide for engineering majors. So this transfer guide here is like kind of a nice grid that will show you, hey, I'm wanting to do civil engineering. Excellent. Well, all the courses with X's, those are ones that you want to try to build into your associates in engineering because those are for sure needed for your major. On the second page, there's even some additional suggestions. So you'll see for civil, we want to see the second chemistry and that biology where you may not need that for computer or electrical. It highlights which EGR classes are most critical for your major and that kind of thing. So it really outlines exactly what you can be doing at Wake Tech to maximize and be closely aligning your time there with what you're going to need to pursue and continue in your degree here at Charlotte. And it has those X's and those check marks for each for each discipline of engineering. So just make sure you're following along with the discipline of interest. So that's the nice thing about the transfer guide is it highlights key or critical courses for your specific engineering discipline. Of course, we also have the North Carolina Baccalaureate degree plans, and similarly, you can go to these and they will highlight those critical classes, but they also show you the general education components of that associates in engineering and what you want to be taking within it. And it works out, it's laid out in a semester by semester, but know that if you take classes a little out of order than what's on here, that's okay, as long as you're earning that AE and building in the critical classes. That is what we're most concerned about, not necessarily that they're taken in this exact order. The other thing that students really like about the BDP is that if you scroll down, you can see if you take everything that's on this baccalaureate degree plan, it will show you what your timeline to degree completion will look like at Charlotte. And so you will see that there are ways that if you maximize your time in your associates in engineering to potentially finish your degree at Charlotte in 2 years. Now, most of our students are taking a little bit longer than that just because of the sequential nature of our engineering programs. But these maps really do, if you can fit everything in here that is highlighted and identified, you're going to be on the most streamlined transfer to Charlotte. And we have really worked to build these tools and make sure they're accessible and easy to use, regardless of which discipline you're interested in. So that's a little bit about those tools, where you can find them. We encourage you. You guys have an amazing advising team at Wake Tech that are very well versed in this information, that connect with us regularly. So don't hesitate to reach out to those folks and myself, of course, to maximize your time there at Wake Tech and to prepare for the most streamlined transfer to Charlotte. So again, I encourage you to use those tools. A couple of things I want to highlight about our engineering program. We are very well known for engineering. We're actually really well known for transfer as a whole. I don't know if you guys knew this, but we're the largest transfer institution in the state of North Carolina. So we bring in quite a few transfer students. Right now, about 50% of our student body are transfer students, just like you. So when you get to campus, you certainly won't have a big T on your forehead, but you will definitely be here amongst others that have pursued that transfer and decided to finish out that educational journey with us in Charlotte. We hope you'll do the same. But with that engineering program specifically, there's currently about 4,000 undergraduate students in it. There are opportunities for early entry graduate programs. So for those of you that are thinking about going on to a master's degree, you can easily do that with a number of our engineering programs. There is a strong focus on hands-on learning. So obviously, hands-on learning was something that we mentioned before in our engineering technology, but it doesn't stop there. Our traditional engineering students are also regularly in the lab using state-of-the-art machinery and technology to really enhance their experience in the classroom and to make them marketable for the job hunt. So what our employers are telling us, what industry leaders that we partner with tell us, is that our students come out needing very little training, on-the-job training, because they've gotten a lot of that hands-on experience in our classrooms. There's also a lot of dedicated support for our engineering students. These programs are challenging. They're rigorous. They often involve very jam-packed semesters. And so we want to make sure these students are supported, not just by their amazing faculty members, but also for dedicated advising, for if there's difficult courses that are on the horizon, having access to tutoring and group tutoring options, individual and group tutoring options. But beyond that, we want you to be prepared for the job force and what's to come. So one of the key components of our Williams States Elite Engineering is that professional development component. So throughout your time in the degree programs, you will regularly be focusing on professional development, connecting with employers and our industry partners, because we want you to come out marketable and employable, and we want you to come out ready to go right into that job force. Our facilities are brand spanking new. We have almost an entire side of campus dedicated to our engineering friends. So you guys have some pretty impressive facilities on campus. Our EPIC building is one, to name a few. It's actually an energy production infrastructure center on campus, and it's where students can solve current energy crises right here in our area. So it's a really cool opportunity for our students. And then I mentioned before, similar to our engineering technology programs, our engineering students are also participating in experiential learning. So whether that's internships, that's co-ops, that's study abroad, that's the lab capstone or design projects that are incorporated into their degree programs. These students are doing a lot of hands-on things that are really marketable for that job industry. The other thing I'll mention is these students are wildly connected. It is a close-knit group of students that are in the engineering field at Charlotte, and we know that builds camaraderie. We know that allows you to work alongside one another, brainstorm, and partner with each other on different projects. And so in addition to that experience in your classroom, you're going to see that with our more than 25 engineering specific student organizations on campus. You'll see that as students work with industry leaders for projects, or maybe to have them come into their student organizations and recruit or just talk about the industry. And there's even some honors experiences, and our transfer students are certainly eligible for those. Don't forget to check out those tools. Again, we have the engineering transfer guides, the baccalaureate degree plans, that all can be found on our admissions.charlotte.edu/transfers page. And the other thing I'll mention is our requirements, because transferring into engineering is slightly more competitive than just transferring to the university. So for the university, we require 24 hours and a 2.0. Engineering is going to be a little bit more competitive. We're going to still require the 24 hours, though we do recommend you do that full associate engineering if possible. That's going to have you coming to Charlotte with at least 60, probably closer to 64 transferable credit hours, which can apply directly towards your major. We do require students have a 2.5 GPA for engineering, but if you're wanting mechanical, that does jump up to a 3.0. And then we do need you to ensure you're getting at least through Calculus 1 with a C or better. However, we know that Associates in Engineering has you going far beyond that, into the Calc 2, the Calc 3, the Diffie-Q, the linear algebra, those things that are needed for your engineering program. So if you're earning that Associates in Engineering, completing that math requirement should be no issue whatsoever. But that is kind of what we're looking for. Again, the Associates in Engineering is your ideal transfer pathway, but it is not the only pathway. And we are happy to work with you and figure out which pathway makes the most sense to you if transferring to Charlotte for an engineering program is what you are hoping to do.
All right, thank you so much, Jamie, for sharing that information. As I've mentioned before, please, students or anyone, if you have questions throughout these presentations, please feel free to drop them in that Q&A box. We are welcoming Dr. Parrish from North Carolina A&T next, and he will give an overview of the Associate in Engineering program here at Wake Tech and how that transfers into North Carolina A&T. Dr. Parrish, if you could just turn your video on so I can cue you up. All right, and take it away, Dr. Parrish.
Okay, can you all hear me okay? Okay, great,
We sure
thank
can.
you. Well, thank you for the opportunity to be able to share briefly about North Carolina A&T's College of Engineering. For those who don't know, of course, we're located in Greensboro, North Carolina. We have about 2,300 students. I'll just kind of go down to the list of some of the programs that we have, just in case you were unaware of those. Basically, we have 7 different departments and total of 11 programs. So one department, chemical, biological, and bioengineering is a program we offer. We have civil, architectural, and environmental engineering. We have a program or department, computational science and data engineering, was one of our grad programs. And then we have computer science, have electrical and computer engineering, we have industrial and systems engineering, and then we have, of course, mechanical engineering. Of course, some of these programs offer obviously a bachelor's degree, some offer masters, and some even offer PhD programs. And so very proud of them. One of the things I will just mention at the very top is that our requirements for transfer are very easy. Basically a 2.5 GPA, and of course these 24 hours, but also completion of Calculus 1. We want you to have that completed. So once you meet those requirements, you can transfer to any of our engineering programs as well as our computer science program that we have as well at the BS level. So when you transfer to North Carolina A&T, one of the things I also sit on the Engineering Pathways Committee representing North Carolina A&T. And one of the things that we stress a lot is that the need to be a part, if you're not already, to be a part of the Associate of Engineering program. You probably heard that mentioned already once before. My colleague before from UNC Charlotte mentioned that as well. But as you complete that program, it's going to make sure you're taking the courses, obviously, the first and second year that our students who are here at the university are also taking. One of the biggest challenges that I'm sure all of our colleagues have mentioned is that with students transferring, whether you're transferring from the AE degree or just from the college transfer, is making sure that you met the prerequisites prior to transfer. That's really the biggest issue. And so if you're in the AE program, that just helps you tremendously to be able to do that. You're taking, of course, the status courses, dynamics as well at the community college. And so those courses, if you're part of the AE program, will automatically transfer to our university. And so when you get here to the university, you basically completed, of course, obviously all your gen ed, but for sure, any engineering courses that our students typically take in the first year and second year. So when you do transfer, you're truly a junior standing, not just in the hours, but truly the courses as well, and you've met all those prerequisites. So if you remember nothing else I say today, definitely use as a takeaway. If you're in the AE program, you're great. If you're not in the AE program, make sure you contact, obviously someone here, so you can contact me, and we can put you in contact with the right person with the respective department to make sure you're taking the right courses while you're there at Wake Tech. Okay. The other thing I want to mention is obviously, I'm sure you'll hear from all the other programs as well. We offer academic support for sure for all of our students. Typical, supplemental instruction. We of course offer tutoring. We also offer online tutoring as well, called Upswing. We have a unit here on campus called the Center for Academic Excellence, and so they offer a variety of tutorial support for any student enrolled, as I'm sure other universities do as well. And so with academic support, you'll get the support you definitely need because it will be, obviously, regardless of where you decide to transfer, it will be an adjustment. While you may have taken 1 or 2 courses, perhaps at the engineering courses at the community college at Wake Tech there, you're now faced with your junior year taking mostly engineering courses. And so just that load and the rigor itself will be an adjustment to make, but I'm confident you can do that. But we also have the support structure to make sure you're able to confidently make that transition to North Carolina A&T's College of Engineering. So the other part I would mention is that as you transition, you decide to come to North Carolina A&T, we like to think of you becoming part of our community. We are a community here in the College of Engineering, as well as a university. We are a historically Black college university, but we have a number of diverse students on our campus from different nationalities and different ethnicities. So I believe you can fit right in and thrive and do very well here at North Carolina A&T. We're heavily involved in research as well as the other universities are as well. One of the things that I offer to transfer students as I get a chance to talk with them from time to time, while we don't offer scholarships, unfortunately, coming in, scholarships are a possibility for transfer students as they transfer in. We'd like you to at least complete 1 semester here at A&T because most of our funding is from corporate donors, some private donors, but mostly corporate donors. And so basically, the funding for scholarship is normally on the back end upper level classes, classifications, juniors and seniors. And so companies want to know that you can demonstrate that you can do college level engineering work at the collegiate level. So that's where the investment's made at the higher classifications. And so along with scholarships, I also encourage students to pursue on-campus opportunities. I mentioned earlier about tutorial work. We have, again, SI or supplemental instruction. We also offer a program called LEAD, L-E-A-D, Leaders in Enhancing Academic Development. That's a program we offer for our freshman students coming in, where we hire upperclassmen to provide help. And that's in the form of recitations, which students are hired to facilitate small groups and help make sure our students, our freshman students who are enrolled in calculus, are successful and get fundamentally grounded and do well in the math courses. And so that's an opportunity there as well. The other opportunity I always encourage transfer students to get involved with is undergraduate research. As you well know, faculty, we're engaged in research and teaching and service. And so perhaps maybe not the first semester, but for sure, second, third semester you're here, if you have an interest in that, you think about perhaps going on to graduate school, I would encourage that as well. Think about doing undergraduate research with one of our faculty members. That's a source of funding to help you with that. One of the things that I'm very excited to talk about here at North Carolina A&T, because of the CARES Act, we're able to provide last year and this upcoming year free textbooks for our students. And so basically they're sort of a loaned out situation where you have to return the books, but there's no cost out of pocket for you to pay for textbooks. And we know textbook can range from, obviously, $700 or $1,000 per semester, right? So that can be a cost that's certainly curtailed there for you. So that's one of the things that I think is very important to recognize as you think about roles at A&T. Again, back to the part of community of scholars. Again, we would like to view ourselves as a community, and regardless of where you're transferring from, your Wake Tech at this point, but regardless of where you're transferring from, we'd like you to get acclimated and get involved, get engaged with a huge number of student organizations, which I'm sure other university colleges have as well. Here in the College of Engineering, we have anywhere typically anywhere between 20 to about 24 different student organizations, just in the College of Engineering alone, not including the ones across campus and so forth. And so they are important. Student organizations are important because, again, as you are probably involved now where you are at Wake Tech, you were probably involved with clubs at your high school. They're equally important as a college student because, again, one of the things that we push very heavily is our students getting involved with internships and co-ops. We want you to be actively engaged during the summers. And so we have 2 large career fairs that we offer our students during the academic year, one in September and one in February, where we have a large number of corporations who come to our campus to recruit students. Now get this. Now, other number of students that come to our campus, not students, but companies that come to our campus to recruit students, easily around 200 of those companies are looking to recruit engineering and computer science students. So that's a large number of companies coming to recruit engineering and computer science students. And so really, I tell our freshmen, I teach our freshman seminar, is that you got to really work hard at not getting an internship because there's so much support available to you to help you with your resume writing, workshop interviewing skills, and those kind of things, so that when you are interviewing with a company, that you're going to be successful. And so that's the thing you want to take a look at as well. What are the number of companies that come to our campus to recruit? Who are they? What kind of companies are they? What kind of industries are they? And how successful are the students who attend in getting internships and co-ops? So I'm going to stop there. I know I only had 10 minutes. I'm going to stop there, but obviously I could talk a lot longer about the great things happening here. But hopefully that kind of gave you a snapshot on a very high level of some of the things we have to offer here at A&T's College of Engineering. And thank you all for the opportunity for being able to share just a little bit about North Carolina A&T's College of Engineering.
Thank you so much, Dr. Parrish. That was extremely helpful. Thank you, everyone who's sticking around. We do have time at the end to ask a lot of questions. So we might get questions after our last presenters, who are from North Carolina State University. Who would like to go first, Taylor or Dr. Roberts?
I'm going to be going first.
All right, you got it. All right, everybody, here's NC State, and they're going to talk a little bit about the Associate in Engineering program here at Wake Tech and how that transfers over to NC State.
Excellent. And I know you said we didn't have to supply slides, but I just got a little slide envy watching everybody else's beautiful slides. So is it okay if I share just a second?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Let's see if we can do it. Uh-oh, I want to share it. Here we go. So I'm going to provide of our College of Engineering, and then I will be turning it over to my colleague Taylor in undergraduate admissions to provide some detail on the admissions requirements. My name is Kim Roberts. I'm the Director of Recruiting, Enrollment Management, and Educational Partnerships for the College of Engineering. And in that, obviously, with the recruitment, I'm excited to be here to share with you more about NC State Engineering. And then, of course, educational partnerships. I do work closely with our North Carolina Community College partners, with Wake Tech obviously being our sister institution in our area. So without question, Taylor can probably confirm this, but I'm pretty sure that Wake Tech would be our highest feeder institution, and we're really happy to have them in our backyard serving so many students.
Confirmed.
So our College of Engineering is large. It is the largest college here at NC State. We have 12 different departments, and we offer 18 different engineering degrees. If you are in that situation where you've been told you're good at science and math and you should be considering engineering, we think this is a strength because odds are by the time you finish that exploration process, the type of engineering that you land on will be offered at NC State. We do have 10,000 students, 7,000 of those are undergrads, and behind me I think you can see my background. This is our Centennial campus, where essentially our entire College of Engineering resides. The only engineering program that is not over there is our nuclear engineering, because we do have a reactor and it's on main campus. We can't rightly move that. Let's see. A little bit more about the strengths of our college. I won't spend too much time because Dr. Parrish mentioned a lot of the things that that A&T is strong in, which we also consider a sister institution, we're also strong in. So just want to highlight a few of these. Our women and minority engineering programs, essentially, they are there to support all of our students. Anything that we do that's cool, is what I say, originates out of our women and minority engineering programs. They recruit, network, and launch our underrepresented groups, but also any student in the College of Engineering. So an example of their services would be, let's see, a tools workshop. Maybe you've never soldered. So they host things like that to support our students, as well as hiring tutors when necessary for different classes and things like that. You all may know our motto is think and do. So at NC State, you'd be joining a very conscientious community, and that is one where we not only are concerned about what's happening in the labs and in our classrooms, but also in the community, whether that be the campus community or local community or even around the world. So if you're the kind of person that's not interested in that, maybe consider somewhere else, because here you're going to be challenged to become involved and make a positive impact in the world around you. Dr. Parrish mentioned this too with research. Students can absolutely get involved in undergraduate research. I worry that sometimes transfer students think to themselves, oh, it's too late, they'll never let me in the lab. That is absolutely false. And in fact, I've seen many students do undergraduate research experiences even in the summer between transfer from the community college to NC State and stay with that lab the entire time that they're on campus. Professional development is probably our strongest characteristic here in the College of Engineering. We do have the second largest engineering career fair in the nation, second largest non-required co-op program. Entrepreneurship is a big deal here. But the message is we want to hear where you want to be, and we want to help you get there, wherever that is for you. International experiences, likewise, I think there's a myth out there. You can't do those in engineering. We support that with money. So if you want to do a week-long, summer, semester-long experience, don't sell yourself short. You can still fit that in even as a transfer student. And then even more enrichment, of course, we have wonderful living and learning villages, lots of organizations, all the cool stuff you're looking for. You may be involved in an organization at Wake Tech with robotics or what have you. So you can certainly explore those here at NC State. So we like to say NC State Hearts transfer students. We admit here in the College of Engineering anywhere from 300 to 400 students each year, and 60 to 70% of them have taken a course or more at a North Carolina community college. And we really rely heavily on the community college system to help us. Because as a land grant public institution, we would love to admit every student that has the potential and wants to do an engineering degree, but we just don't have the space. And so we're so happy to have such strong partners to provide those courses that are actually in the AE degree, right, by design, all those critical courses that a student can do there and then transfer seamlessly and directly into our engineering courses. You can see that the students are strong, a strong GPA, 3.65. And the typical transfer student does have 60 to 70 credit hours. I did mention we have 18 different degrees. Not all of those are super suited to staying the full 2 years at Wake Tech or 3 years, whatever it is. So we really want students to keep in mind the reverse transfer. So maybe you come after 3 semesters and finish the 4th at State and transfer back those credit hours to get that Associates of Engineering degree. And in fact, our registration of records has made that super easy for students. You just have to click a button, and then your transcript, free of charge to you, will be sent back to Wake Tech, so you can earn that Associates of Engineering degree. And we do treat that at NC State, even though it's not in the Comprehensive Articulation Agreement. We at NC State do treat it as an independent institution, as if it is an Associates of Science or Associates of Arts. So we do award the credit that you would expect, so long as you meet the requirements that are listed for a typical AS or AA earner. And then we're just really proud that 1 out of every 4 students that walk across the stage at graduation started somewhere else. I think, so we have deadlines here, but I think Taylor's probably going to run down all of this stuff with deadlines and then the transfer course requirements. So I think I can stop sharing. Is that what I do here? How do I stop sharing?
Yep, there should be a little X. There's a little box at the top, and you can click the X in the box.
All right, excellent. Taylor, over to you.
All
All
right.
right, so Blair, if I want to share something that I've got, do I hit this up arrow or do I need to request access?
Yep, just hit the up arrow and then I'll queue it up for you.
All right, nothing is show Windows 5, nothing's there. What in the world?
If you hit the up arrow, does it say share content?
No, not there. Let me do this. Let me more actions. Let me see if we got that. Nope. Up arrow. Oh, wait a minute. It was there. There was something there. It said share content. Ah. Share content. Screen. What happens if I hit Windows 5? Let me see.
All right.
Do you see this?
See it. Yeah, we can see it.
All right.
You're good.
Okay, a little touch different than Zoom and what have you. I remember, Blair, that you had told us you wanted us to talk about the application process, and that's really what I'm here for, to represent the undergraduate admissions side. I work a lot with Dr. Roberts with engineering applicants as well. My name, again, everybody's Taylor Holland. I'm one of the associate directors for undergraduate admissions, and I'm the transfer coordinator as well. So we do heart transfer students, but our application process, based on the requests that they wanted us to go over with us, they wanted us to go over it with you all who are present today with us. So our application process is relatively easy. We have 3 choices with the Common App, the Coalition App, or the NC State Transfer App. And I'm sorry if you hear some noise in the background. They are literally doing construction in the room next to me, and it sounds like they are in the room with me. So I apologize if y'all can hear this. $85 application fee. Official college transcripts from each college you've ever attended. Also a high school transcript if you are in your first year of college or you do not quite have 30 transferable credit hours just yet. AP and IB test scores sent from the testing agency. You want to have those scores sent in, can be very helpful for us. CLEP scores, we don't really use those, but we can use them for replacement afterwards also. And then other items to note with our application process. And again, CLEP scores, we can actually use them for credit after admissions, meeting admissions requirements. All students are required to complete an academic interest essay just to show there is a true feel for the major as well, and not somebody trying to backdoor into another type of major or anything. And then this is for the general university population as well. Personal essays are optional, but they're highly recommended on these applications, and you can submit the essay topics provided that we have provided on the applications. Letters of recommendation, we do not require them, and we do not necessarily use them at all in our admissions process, as well as resumes. We are not requiring those, and we do not use them in the process either for the application. Our deadlines are really spring and fall. If you do get an admissions letter for fall, you can back it up to the second summer session. That is a possibility, but here's our dates and a May 1st confirmation deadline, or within, if you get admitted after May 1st, within 10 days after receiving your letter of admissions as well. You do want to try and hit these deadlines just so that we can get the answer out to you through your application portal, which we call a WolfPaw account that we will build for you based on your personal email address that you supply in one of your whichever application you choose to use. Next up, what we are looking for basically, all transfer applicants should have at least 30 transferable college credit hours, including the specific coursework and a competitive GPA based on the major they're applying for engineering. That's going to be with any of the North Carolina community colleges, especially our big partner, Wake Tech, the English 111 and 112, the Calculus 1, Math 271, the Calculus 2, Math 272, the calculus-based physics, which is called General Physics at Wake Tech, Physics 251 with the lab, and then the General Chemistry 151 are going to be the primary courses we're going to be looking for. Of course, a lot of our applicants look at our degree tracks, and they choose more courses if they are finishing off the Associate of Engineering, which transfers beautifully into NC State and starts you as a junior if you have completed that as well. Courses, some people ask, is there a max amount of credits? Not necessarily, but you do have to complete the last 48 credit hours of the final 60 credit hour layout for the College of Engineering in order to graduate from any of their programs. Courses repeated at previous institutions are calculated with the original grades earned, but we will drop your 2 lowest grades below a C-. We just take them out and you don't have to worry about them as well. Major specific coursework. The most competitive applicants will have the 30 hours completed along with the major specific coursework that I just mentioned already completed or prior to applying to the College of Engineering or any of our majors at NC State, but also the College of Engineering. And then accomplishments and involvement outside of the classroom, because of the heavy emphasis on academic preparation. Enrichment activities should complement the major you are applying for if you have that chance. We understand some people just, they go to school, they go to work, they don't have the opportunity to go belong to a bunch of different organizations and what have you. And there is a way for you to explain that in the applications. We're very easy on that. We're not hardcore. We get it. Life happens, and we just want to make sure that everybody just knows that. And you do have a way of explaining that. Like I did not belong to a club or organization. I go to school, I go to work, I study, go to bed, get up and do it all over again. But if you do have enrichment activities or careers, jobs, and what have you outside of it, you put them in the application. It's great because it can be anything outside the classroom for example, whatever type of job that you are doing, military experience, clubs, community service, community work, honor societies, and so on. Your interest in the program, it's huge for us. Recommended coursework and a competitive GPA are determined by the program of interest, whichever engineering program you're going into. There's some little differences here and there for various different engineering programs, and you do apply into the particular major that you are looking for in the College of Engineering, and we will look for those recommended courses and any related activity possibilities, but we won't hold it against you if you don't have it either. We want you to know that everybody gets reviewed fairly and thoroughly based on the time that they've put into this application. The academic interest essay, again, is required on the application just to tell us why you are interested in the major that you are selecting. So that really, in a nutshell, is basically it for that. I'm going to come back to this, and let me see, X out of that. Let's see, I think I'm out. Am I out, Blair? Am I totally out? Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
And so it's really, okay, great. But that's really the admissions process. And if you have any other questions, about it, you're more than welcome to contact our office. We have virtual appointments available. And if you're looking at the campus, we offer virtual tours. We have in-person tours. Self-guided tours are very popular right now, especially on Sundays. A lot of families and individuals want to see what a campus looks like when it's deserted. This has been something that's been a really strange phenomenon that happened due to the pandemic. And even as things calm down and then go up and down and calm down, we're finding more and more people are like, what's the quietest day of the week? And we're like, Sunday. They're like, we want to see what it's going to be like walking across campus on any Sunday on our own when we're going to the cafeteria, when we're going to go visit a friend at a residence hall, or going to meet at the bookstore or the student union. I want to see what that's going to feel like. So it is about fit and feel, and that's how students should choose. Choosing strong universities that are known for producing strong graduates for what you want to do, and that fit and feel like it's your home away from home. And that's what we think this self-guided tour, empty campus phenomena is as well also going on. And we've got a beautiful campus. I think even on an empty day, it's quite beautiful, actually. So we hope to see everybody. We hope to see a lot of interest. We do get a lot of interest. We got a lot to offer, just like a lot of the schools on here too. But NC State, we offer our own little kettle of goodies for our students to excel and be awesome all the way through retirement. So that's it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Taylor. At this time, we're just going to move on to some questions that we have. And if it applies to our applied science degree programs, which the first few questions do, we will go in the order that we started. So we'll have Beth answer first, and then we'll have Al answer, and then we'll have ECU, UNC Charlotte answer, and then A&T and NC State, unless they're specific for a certain school, and we'll point that out to you. So Mike, if you want to take it away, we've got some questions. Give me just a second.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mike Holmes, and I'm going to be doing the question and answer portion. So just to get us started, what kind of job or career can a two-year applied science degree student obtain?
Okay, I'll start. Typically, our civil engineering students will graduate and then they can take a job sort of in 3 different fields. If they want to be in the office, they typically start as a CAD designer. And from a CAD designer, you could work your way up. And my husband works for an engineering firm, and there are some people that are actually project managers and his firm that have 2-year associate's degrees. So you can work your way up to being all the way up in a company with this 2-year degree. Another option would, if you like being outside, would be to be a construction materials testing technician, where you go out on job sites and you test the materials before they're placed. For example, concrete or asphalt or soils. All those things need to be tested to make sure that they meet specifications prior to being placed before construction. So that would be another option. And then you have construction administration, where students would be out in the field during construction, reading plans and making sure that the projects are built according to those plans. So those are kind of the 3 paths our civil engineering students take. For our geomatics students, some of them decide to be in the field, and so they take jobs as a rodman or an instrument operator. And then there's a field path where they can work all the way up being a field technician. And then other ones will have jobs in the office, where they are taking the work that's done in the field into the office and putting it into CAD or other softwares to be able to produce the base maps that the engineers use for design.
All right, Al, did you want to add anything to that?
Yes, as far as the AAS, same as what she was mentioning with like civil, mechanical engineering, or even the electronics and areas, and we're looking at mechatronics as well. You can go into manufacturing or advanced manufacturing and work in a manufacturing setting, where you may be supporting manufacturing lines, doing testing of equipment, doing repair of equipment. You may start out getting involved with some preliminary design work, working with machine shops and things like that, maybe designing some tool and fixturing, designing some setups on lines. You could even get involved with, from the quality control standpoint, just making sure that everything's meeting the specs of what the original design was meant to be. Doing testing of product lines and things like that to make sure everything's working as it was initially set up. You have different levels too. You have technician, you have technologist, which is where you can kind of advance a little bit more. Rates could start in the 50K range. You can graduate up into 60 and 70,000 a year, depending upon how much as you gain experience or how advanced the position or where you work at. Other things you might end up getting involved in is fabrication, sheet metal fabrication or mechanical fabrication type environments. Get involved with maintenance, where you're involved with maintenance, maybe speccing out and helping out with the decision of equipment, setting up of equipment and things like that. Research and development, assisting with those areas as well, and even involved with service industries, where you do some troubleshooting and trying to repair mechanical based equipment or electromechanical equipment or mechatronics and things of that nature. And in advanced manufacturing is kind of the direction things are going now, but a lot of times you're working with those bachelor and master's engineers as well. And so everybody kind of has their role. We're more the hands-on, and some of the background work is being done by the technicians or technologists, where they're doing a lot of hands-on. And then where a lot of the more in-depth design and things like that, theoretical side might be done by the bachelors or the advanced. And then you can look at the transfer side. As you advance as that AAS person, you have the opportunity to go on and pursue your degree beyond the AAS.
All right, thank you.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Mike.
I was going to say, Albert, you mentioned mechatronics. Is there a different process for transfer students who want to go into mechatronics engineering?
As far as the mechatronics, as far as the transfer process, it all depends on the university that you end up going with. The difference in the mechatronics and the mechanical is you're dealing more with the hydraulics, statics, strength of materials, and more your mechanic-based courses. You do get into some electronics courses initially, but when you get into mechatronics, you get more into circuits and more electrical, electronics-based courses mixed with mechanical. And so when you, from a transfer standpoint, it's going to be into those universities that would have more of a mechatronics mix. So if a university has more of a mechanical engineering mix, it's not mechatronics, it doesn't have the electrical electronics mix in their degree program, it would not have that. So it depends on the university and what they offer, because some universities may offer a mechatronics option, where other universities may be more mechanical, strictly mechanical based. And so that's something. And so another option there, if somebody has a concentration in electrical or concentration mechanical, and they want to go to a particular university and they may not have the mechatronics, then the student can look at doing the mechanical and the electrical or something like that to try to create that mix if there's a particular university they want to go to find that the mix to get what they're looking for. Because we have students that double major at Wake Tech. Like Beth mentioned earlier, they do her civil and her geomatics programs, a combination. We have 2 tracks now. We got a mechanical engineering technology standard track, and we also have a mechatronics tracks. However, whatever courses are not offered in one of the tracks is electives in the other track. So students may complete one track and then go and continue to take courses in the secondary track and end up having 2 AAS degrees with only having to take a few extra courses to gain that extra classroom and hands-on experience.
Okay, and another question coming in from a student. When deciding between civil engineering and environmental engineering, what would be the difference post-graduation?
So we do civil engineering technology. I went to NC State and I majored in civil engineering with my concentration in environmental engineering. And so the biggest difference in the two is a lot of the civil engineers are doing structures, so more bridges and buildings, structural type things. Civil engineering also has to do with designing roads, laying out lots, designing water and sewer systems. When you go environmental, you are doing more of the pond design. So ponds, wetlands, bioretention areas, underground detention systems. You're looking at nutrient removal, so removing nitrogen and phosphorus from the water that's being released from these ponds and things. So they're similar and they tie together because you have to have ponds and wetlands and things when you do land development. But the civil people are doing more of the roadway designs, the lot layouts, things like that, whereas the environmental people are doing more of the stormwater aspect.
Okay, and just to add to that, if someone were to be doing an environmental engineering degree, could they work as a civil engineer and vice versa?
Yes, they could. So, and I did, and after I said that, I also was thinking that a lot of environmental people can do water and wastewater treatment facilities too. That would be another way to go with environmental. But yes, so I did environmental engineering, and I worked at civil engineering firms, and I did the traditional civil engineering, where and there are plenty of people that major in civil engineering that were working in stormwater. Basically, environmental is sort of a concentration under civil. They're very similar. It's more of a specific type of civil engineering.
Thank you, Charlotte. Next question. If a student is studying the AE, do they need to have all 3 calculuses and science prereqs prior to transfer?
And I'll go ahead and start with East Carolina if you want to answer that question. Let's see, where are you? All right, Colleen, I'm going to queue you up, and we'll start with you, and then we'll go to UNC Charlotte, and then A&T and NC State.
Sure. So you don't have to have all 3 calculus classes. We just require the first calculus class with the C or better. But if you come with just that first calculus class, you're not going to finish in 2 years. So the more math that you come with, then the less time you're going to spend here at ECU. So if you can get, all 3 calculus classes and differential equations out of the way at Wake Tech, then go ahead and do it. You might as well while you're there. The same thing with your chemistry, your physics, and your biology. go ahead and do it while you're there before you transfer. That way you can focus on the engineering classes once you come here.
All right, thank you. And Jamie for Charlotte.
We are super similar. So in order to transfer, we just need you to have that Calc 1 complete the required GPA in at least 24 hours. However, keep in mind that with the sequential nature of an engineering program, if you come before you have Calc 2 or Calc 3, that's going to delay your access to certain classes like physics coursework and some of your engineering specific classes. So similar to what Colleen was describing with ECU, we would prefer you to come with as much of that critical math and science coursework complete as possible so that you have the max access to your next courses in your engineering major sequencing. But at a minimum, you do have to have Calc 1 complete with a C or better.
All right, and Dr. Parrish with A&T.
Right, the same as my two colleagues before me basically said. We require just the Cal 1 for transfer 2.5 GPA. But it's like I said, the first year, second year, obviously you got Cal 1, Cal 2, Cal 3, and perhaps even different equations that fourth semester. So the more math you can get done while you're there in college, it's going to be much better. As I said earlier, it's very important to make sure that you've got the prerequisites done prior to transferring so that you're not delaying your graduation time.
All right, thank you. And NC State, Dr. Roberts or Taylor, do you want to take this one?
I'll take it. So we do require Calc 1 and Calc 2. It is not required to have Calc 3, but we would encourage similar message to everybody else in the sense that take whatever's next until you're done with the calculus sequence. So if you transfer, if it's wiser for you to transfer after 1 year and then reverse transfer, then you'll come in with just the minimum. If you are there for 3 or, if you work up, there should be no semester where you're skipping calculus, I guess is my message. So whatever the next calculus course is until you've exhausted everything, it doesn't really matter when you transfer after Calc 2.
Okay, thank you. And then if I could also get you all to go through your grade requirements for transfer for your prereqs.
So you need a C or better for a class transfer in. So that's the key requirement. But we're also going to look and see, what's sort of your track record in your classes, and not just in your math and science, because contrary to popular belief, engineers need to communicate, which means you need to be pretty good at writing and verbal communication. So we're going to look at those grades in English 111 and 112. And if you've not got a great track record, that's not really, sort of a good predictor. And if you've been getting C's in all of your math and science classes, that's also not really going to strengthen your case as to why we should accept you. What's pulling up your GPA are, your humanities classes. That does not bode well for you.
For Charlotte, can you guys hear me okay? There you go. For Charlotte, we're similar, in order for a class to transfer, you're going to need a C or better, but if you're making straight C's, you're not going to meet that GPA requirement of our engineering program. So our engineering programs do require that you have a 2.5 GPA, unless you want mechanical, which is slightly more competitive, requiring a 3.0 GPA in your college courses. So while C's will transfer, we do need you making sure that in all of your courses you're earning C's or better, but also you want to have A's and B's within there to ensure you're meeting that additional GPA requirement for our engineering programs, and to feel confident that you're retaining that information in those courses that in an engineering program really build upon one another. So you want to have that strong foundation in those courses that you're doing at Wake Tech to prepare you for the next courses in the sequence and to ultimately prepare you for the coursework when you make your way to us. So C's or better are required, but you're going to need higher than that in other classes to make sure you're meeting our 2.5 GPA requirement or the 3.0 GPA requirement for mechanical.
And likewise for North Carolina A&T, again, the requirement is 2.5 GPA. Courses obviously will not transfer if there is a C or higher. And so you have to C or higher in the course you want to transfer. But again, it's about content. So, we share students, try to do their best in those courses because obviously you need that knowledge we learn from those low-level courses to use in some of the engineering courses as you simply be a junior or senior in college.
I'm sorry, I had thrown my mask on. Now there's construction in my ceiling panels. I'm waiting for somebody to come crashing through right on top of me, so I'm wearing this. So anyway, they're laying wires for an auto door. But anyway, we are looking for, the strong grades in the recommended courses, especially the Englishes. I liked how Colleen said it. We're not going to overlook the English. We're not going to, we're going to look at all of it, including the critical maths and the sciences and what have you. You do have to have a 2.5 GPA on your math, your last 2 maths taken. So it may not necessarily, if you've gone beyond the Calculus 2 and you've moved on to the Calc 3 or the linear algebra or the differential equations, we're going to look at that particular GPA of the last 2 maths taken, and then the overall GPA as well. All of us have a problem of having a lot of applicants apply for our programs, and so the strongest students, or the strongest, last school attended in some cases with some of the public universities of the state of North Carolina, those strong performances could possibly give those students advantages. You just want to make sure that you are doing your best and concentrating on doing well with those particular courses overall. Dr. Roberts, do you have anything you want to add to that? Okay, so just doing well, do your best, and make it happen.
Okay. And are there any advantages to completing an AAS program for civil, electronic, or mechanical engineer prior to transfer?
I think maybe the universities can respond to this better, but almost all of our courses will transfer into the universities that we are transferring into. So I'm going to let them speak to that.
Now, as far as the one thing you need to watch for when you're doing an AAS program is make sure that the general education courses are the transferable courses. So if there is a particular program planning guide for your degree program that is asking for, saying it requires the English 110, for instance, that's non-transferable. You'll need to get your community college advisor to have that substituted with English 111. Same goes for like the math. If that AAS program is requiring a Math 110 or a Math 121, you want to get with your advisor to make sure you have that substitute to be a Math 171 or a 172, which will be transferable to the university from the AAS programs. So like a Psych 118 is in some programs, that's not transferable. You want to switch that to a Psych 150. So those are the key things when you're looking at AAS programs, and let your advisor know up front that your goal is not to do the AAS degree and go into industry or go straight into your career, or if you have any plans to eventually transfer, if you go ahead and communicate with your advisor from the very beginning, you can have those general education courses substituted with the transferable options so that you're not having to take extra credits later. And the other part of it is if you know what university or program you want to go into, contact that university or go online, pull that baccalaureate degree plan where it shows the first 2 years of courses with community college that they accept into those programs, so that you know you're taking the courses required that's going to meet the requirements of that university or program you want to transfer into. Once again, that'll save you from having to take extra credits later and ensure the best smooth transition into transfer. The one last thing, when you're talking about AAS, the AE program, if you're going into an engineering program or technology program, look at what they're looking to accept. Is it an AA? Is there an articulation agreement with that AAS program between the university and Wake Tech? Or is there the uniform articulation agreement is a uniform, that's an agreement across the university system in North Carolina and the community college system. We do the associates in engineering, which the university spoke about earlier. So if you have a looking to transfer, we may not have, our AAS may not have an articulation agreement with a particular university or particular program. So that's something else to look at. Is the AAS program the right fit? or is the AE program the right fit at the college for where you eventually want to transfer into? And so you kind of need to do your research from that standpoint to make sure you're in the proper program for what your educational and career goals are.
Great, thank you. Well said. ECU, do you all want to speak any to this question as well?
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me? Oh Lord, I think I'm frozen. Okay, there it is. All right.
Yes, we can.
I don't want to give wrong information. I'm not sure. Amy would be the best person to answer this question. But what I can do is ask her to kind of respond back and get that back to you guys.
That's okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
UNC Charlotte, will go to you next.
Sure. Yeah, so if a student wants to do one of our engineering technology degree programs, we strongly encourage you to complete your aligning Associate of Applied Science degree prior to transferring. So if you want to do engineering technology at Charlotte, you should be doing the Associate of Applied Science, aligning Associate of Applied Science degree at Wake Tech, and using our tools to make sure you're selecting the right meaningful math and general education and other, engineering technology specific classes that align with our program. And this is important because if you want to do an engineering technology degree at Charlotte, your engineering technology coursework from your AAS degree only transfers to Charlotte if that degree is complete. If you decide to transfer to Charlotte for engineering technology and you've taken some engineering technology coursework, but you didn't earn that full aligning Associate of Applied Science degree, that coursework's not going to come with you. Our agreement is for students that earn the full Associate of Applied Science degree. So if you want to do engineering tech at Charlotte, our recommendation would be to do the full aligning Associate of Applied Science degree. I apologize, there's clearly a racetrack right outside my window here. But we do want you all, if you're going to do engineering technology, the aligning Associate of Applied Science degree fully complete is the best way to transfer to our program. Now, if you want engineering, so if you want one of our engineering science degrees, the Associate of Applied Science degree is not going to be the right fit for you. It will not prepare you or into our engineering sciences program. So you really want to stick with the AE if you want to do engineering science at Charlotte, and you want to stick with fully completing the aligning applied science degree if you're wanting to do engineering technology.
Okay. And if you're a student trying to get a second bachelor's degree, is there a limit to how many credits that you can transfer in? And also, is there a minimum of credits you have to do at the destination school before receiving your degree?
So for UNC Charlotte, absolutely. So we actually see a good number of second degree seeking students wanting to come to Charlotte. You can transfer up to 90 credit hours from a previous bachelor's degree to your program at Charlotte. So up to 90 credit hours. Just keep in mind that up to 90 credit hours doesn't mean you only have 30 credit hours to earn our degree. You still have to meet our specific degree requirements. But we do award second bachelor degree seeking students a general education exemption at Charlotte. So when you get to Charlotte, we'll award you up to 90 credit hours. You'll be general education exempt, but you will still have all of your specific major requirements left to complete that are not fulfilled from your previous transfer credit. You do need to complete at least 25% of your degree at Charlotte to earn your degree. So at a minimum, all of our students have to do at least 30 credit hours at Charlotte, but there will be some specific upper division or higher level engineering coursework that has to be completed at Charlotte in order for you to earn your degree with us. So even as a second degree seeking student, you're coming in with your general education complete, but you're still held to all the same degree requirements as any other transfer student or truly home student as well.
Okay, we'll go to NC State next. Taylor, do you want to speak to that, or?
Sure, I can, unless Dr. Roberts wants to. Okay. Typically for all of the entire university, you do have to do the last 25% of the degree. So there really is not a max amount of hours, but you just want to be careful based on the majors that you're going into. Engineering is more specific. You do have to do the last 48 of the final 60-hour credit layout in order to graduate from any of their programs. So you want to be very careful in your timing of your transfer in order to not have to possibly repeat something in an upper level range or something along that line. So again, it's a little bit different. 25% of the degree for almost all of the entire university. but with the College of Engineering for any of their programs, the last 48 of the 60-hour layout for any of the particular 17 different programs that we offer in engineering must be done here at NC State.
May I just add that unless your previous degree was in another engineering program, the odds of bumping up against that are extremely low, that 48-hour rule. So don't anybody coming through a North Carolina community college system is I could virtually there's no chance at all that they would bump up against that.
All right, we're going to circle back to ECU. We do have a representative who can answer that previous question. Hello, Ricky.
Hi, I'm Ricky Castles from the ECU Engineering Department. So ECU allows an unlimited number of credits to transfer in, but in terms of how many of those have to be completed in residence, you do have to complete 50% of your degree at ECU. And as was previously stated, we have the same situation where unless your first degree is in an engineering discipline, you're almost never going to have that issue. Especially coming from a community college, there are some limits. So usually there's nothing above what we would consider a 2000 level course taught at the community college system. So it would be extraordinarily rare unless you're coming from having a bachelor's degree in engineering, wanting to get a second bachelor's degree in engineering, which if that was what you were wanting to do, we might steer you toward one of our master's programs anyway.
All right, and North Carolina A&T with Dr. Parrish, would you like to answer that?
All right, I can give a response. I can give a response for the maximum number of hours transferred. It is 90 as well as well. I'm not sure about the residence requirement though. I'll get back to you on that one, but I do know it's 90 credit hours maximum that you can transfer.
Okay, and it looks like the final question was, once you transfer, is it possible to still complete one of the AAS or AE degrees part-time during the evening or online?
Let's start with Beth, if you could speak to that.
Yes, we did change our programs about 2 years ago so that all of our classes for geomatics are offered online or in the evening, so people can complete their degree somewhere else or they can work full-time while still completing their degree, their AAS degree here. Our civil engineering classes are mostly online and in the evenings. There are 2 classes that are during the day because we have NCDOT that comes in and helps out with third-party certifications. And so those we had to keep during the day. But other than that, it's very easy to complete this degree online or in the evenings while working full-time or completing a degree somewhere else.
And Al, do you want to say anything?
Looks like you might still be on mute, Al.
Thank you. When I was mentioning earlier, showing the website, if you go to the best.waketech.edu, that's a shortcut to our division website. There you can scroll down and choose whatever engineering technology or associate in engineering program you're looking for. As you go into each one of those pages, on the upper left-hand side, there's a degrees and pathways. When you click on that degrees and pathways, there will be an option to pick on which program you're interested in or credential, and you can click on learn more. And when you go into that, it'll let you know whether it's a day program, night program, if the courses are day, night, if it's offered online, hybrid, or seated. And so we do have a mix of, in our engineering technology and our associate engineering, we do have a mix of offering in sections of courses depending upon what the course is and where you're at in the program.
Thank you.
All right, do we have any other questions out there?
I did find the answer for that second part of the question. I think my colleague said as well, it's just 25% must be earned at A&T. That's 25%.
All right, thank you.
While we wait for final questions, I am going to go ahead and put a link for a survey. If students can fill that survey out for us, just so that we have some feedback from today's event. That'll be in the Q&A announcement box in just a minute.
Yes, and thank you everybody for joining us today. Anyone who's watching the event, we appreciate you filling out the survey just to let us know if this was helpful or any feedback that you can possibly provide. We really, really want to thank our university representatives and of course our applied science department heads or program directors who've taken the time today to answer these questions and to give an overview of the different programs. We will be sharing this recording later if someone had to leave early or if you would feel like you could share this with a friend or someone. We will send out the link after we've wrapped up the session, and we will also put our advisor information. So if you want to meet with one of us on the campus to just kind of go over what program might be a best fit for you, we'd be happy to help you. All right, anything else from anyone?
Thank you all for joining. I put the survey link in the announcement tab if you don't mind filling that out, and we'll wait around just a couple more minutes before we end the event.
All right, I think we're going to wrap up. Again, thank you everybody. If there are any questions after, you know how to find academic advisors, and some of these representatives have put their contact information in the chat, so feel free to reach out, and we will now end our live session. Thank you.